and this session we are going to discuss about the friction. So my dear friends, let us have a slight discussion about the friction. When we take, already we are discussing about the force. On the other day we have discussed about the different types of forces. What is force? We have discussed about the gravitational force. We have discussed about the electric and magnetic forces, nuclear forces. We have had a small discussion about it. Again, coming to the force. If you take a gravitational force, it is a non-contact force. For example, Earth and the Sun. They are not in touch with each other. Though they are not in touch with each other, there is a force between them. Without any contact, there is a force. Such kind of forces we call them as non-contact forces. For example, if you take a magnet and if you take a pin, if you just move the magnet even if the pin is moving, in between they are not in touch with each other. But there is a force. It's a non-contact force. But now coming to the friction, friction is a contact force. Means friction is possible only when you push. The one body is in touch with the surface. A body is in touch with the surface of the second body. When there is a contact between these two bodies, at the molecular level, there is a force of attraction. And we have to, when we push, these bonds have to be broken. Means that bond formation is important. Means friction is a contact force. It is not a non-contact force. So frictional force is a contact force. So I think now you understood what is the difference between a contact and a non-contact force. Now my dear friends, let us see what is this friction in our day-to-day life. Where do we see the friction in our day-to-day lives? In what way friction is useful and also harmful? In some places friction is very useful. For example, I request all the children who are watching this video, I thank them a lot. Just take the two hands and start rubbing. When we rub it vigorously, see, before rubbing you observe the temperature, and after you start rubbing you observe the temperature. The temperature of the hand keeps on increasing. The warmth is increasing. This warmth is increasing because of the friction between the two hands. When you are rubbing, it is generated. It is becoming warmer. So there is a friction between the two hands. So my dear friends, I think now you are understanding. These two hands are not perfectly smooth surfaces. They are having some ups and downs are there. So frictional force is nothing but an opposing force. For example, when we were young, there used to be small seeds. We used to play with the seeds. What we used to do is we take a rough surface and we just simply rub that seed. When we rub the seed, what happens is it generates a heat. When the heat is generated, the other fellow will be sitting beside and just you go and touch that fellow. That fellow means a lot of heat is being absorbed. The temperature is increasing. So my dear friends, we used to play when we are. So my dear friends, now you understood what is the friction. Friction is nothing but an opposing force, a resisting force. So my dear friends, now we can see the friction. For example, if you take a matchbox, see, there is a surface, this side there is a surface and also there is a kind of chemical given here. When you are just lighting a matchbox, you cannot light the matchbox when the surface is smooth. It's not possible to produce a fire. It is possible only when there is a kind of a rough surface is there. And due to this friction, we are able to burn the matchstick. Without the friction, we cannot burn the matchstick, my dear. Without the friction, we can't walk on the ground. Even to walk, friction is very important. Just I would like to give an example. For example, the surface is very smooth on which we are walking. And unknowingly somebody has poured some water and you are just running on that. The next moment what you are going to do? You just fall down. Because already the surface is too smooth. So the frictional force is very less. And water is there. It's a lubricating agent. So again still with the help of the water, still the friction is decreasing. Because it's a lubricating agent. Water is acting as a lubrication. So next what is going to happen now? You are walking fast because you don't know. Unknowingly you are walking fast. So because of the lack of friction between your leg and the floor, when you are walking, you have to push your leg back. After the session is finished, just go outside and see, walk on the floor, walk on the sand, walk in water, It's very easy for you to walk on the floor, because when you kick the ground back, the ground is kicking you front. As a result, you are able to move front. So my dear friends, if you walk on sand, so when you kick it back, it's a yielding surface. So the sand is moving back. So it's difficult for you to move front. It's difficult. The level of difficulty increases when you walk on the sand. In water also, it's difficult for you. You can't run as fast as you can run on the ground. You can't run in the water or sand, because to walk you have to kick the ground back. So to kick, you must stand. That is possible because of the friction between you and the ground. It's very important. So my dear friends, between the ground and this our leg, if the friction is absent, we can't walk, we can't run. If you just go to the athletes and see the athletes, you just see their shoe. They use a shoe where there are sharp ends are there. So when they are walking, when they are running, slipping, there is every chance to slip. So to have that grip, so my dear friends, you can see that there is a grip shoes are used, especially by the athletes. So these are all being done to increase the friction, so that they have the grip and then the chance of falling will decrease. So my dear friends, friction is useful for us in walking and running and all the things. Friction is useful. Without friction, for example, you are being asked to push the wall. Just imagine, after the session is finished, go and push the wall. You just observe, push the wall as much as you can. Put all your best force. Observe how you are pushing. See, when you are pushing, your friend is coming and pouring oil on the ground. Just observe, can you push the wall? Can you exert any pressure on the wall? No. Because you are able to exert the pressure on the wall because you are kicking the ground with that force. As a result, you are able to put the pressure on the wall. Once the oil is being there and the pressure is very, your legs are not able to stop here. So you are just slipping, and if you push the wall, you will just go back and fall down. So my dear friends, we have to understand that we have to thank friction many times, because without that we can't walk. So it is very much useful for us to walk. And in our day-to-day life, there are so many advantages. For example, the vehicle is going very high speed. Suddenly something is coming. Suddenly the driver didn't expect that is going to come. Suddenly he has to apply the brake. It has to apply the brake, and within no time he has to apply the brake to save the life. So my dear friends, this brake is very important. Otherwise we met with an accident. And once the pressure is being given on the brake, that vehicle has to stand. That is possible only when there is a friction between the road and the vehicle, the wheel. When this friction is missing between the road and the wheel, soon after you apply the brake, your vehicle cannot be stopped. This is very important. And without that friction, it is not possible for you to drive on the road, because sometimes you have to apply the sudden brakes must be applied. Sometimes you may apply a slow brake, but sometimes an impulsive brake must be applied. So my dear friends, to stop a vehicle is very important. Accelerating a vehicle is not that important. To have a safe riding, stopping the vehicle is very important. And that is possible due to the friction between the wheel and the road. Very important. So without that, it's not possible for us to just go on a vehicle. So my dear friends, one more example. Friction is useful in many ways. For example, you have to stitch a shirt. So means you have to put so many knots you have to stitch with a thread. If there is no friction between this thread and this cloth, it cannot bind it. You can't wear the shirt. So every knot must be binded properly, and that is possible only with the friction. So my dear friend, most of the time we use a cotton cloth than the silk, because the knot should be tight. It indicates that there must be friction. Without that, you can't use the thread to put a knot. That also is important, my dear friends. And for example, your hook is there. Some nail, you have to put some nail, and the nail has to be stopped in that wall. That is possible only when there is a friction between the nail and the wall. If that is missing, the nail will just come out. If you apply some force, it just simply runs out, and you can't hold anything. So to hold anything, your nails are helping you, and the nails are able to help you because of the friction between the wall and the nail is there. So my dear friends, friends, that friction you are using. In your day-to-day life, you are using the friction. And my dear friends, again I am giving one more example here. That is from the our planet, and we have the atmosphere. Out of the atmosphere, we have a lot of cosmic substances are there. Many meteors enters Earth's atmosphere. Many meteors enter the Earth's atmosphere, but most of them burn on the way. Burn on the way means once they are coming with a high speed. Once they enter the Earth's atmosphere, in the Earth's atmosphere we are having oxygen and nitrogen, you know that. And once they are coming, due to the frictional force between the meteor and the air, it catches fire. By the time it reaches the planet, reaches the ground, it mostly burns off in between. And still sometimes if the size is bigger, some particles even will reach the Earth. That we call as a meteorites, but very less in number. So many of the time, most of the time, the meteors will be burning on the way. So my dear friend, this is possible because of the friction between that meteor and the air. If that is missing, it's a big disturbance for us. Continuously every meteor reaches the Earth. It's not comfortable for us. So that way friction is useful, my dear friends. Friction is useful. Just now we have seen to write pencil, to write on the paper, we require, there must be a friction between your paper and the pencil, otherwise the pencil cannot write. Just you take a very smooth surface, or like a plastic surface, just go and write on it. You can't write it. On a plastic paper you can't write because there is no friction between the pencil and the paper. So even to write it require friction is needed for you to write, my dear friends. So I think now you understood friction is useful. At the same time, friction is even harmful also. It's an evil and a friend. It's useful and evil. Both the things are there. Let us see where it is an evil. For example, your chappal, after you buy, after a few months have passed, the sole of the chappal is just worn out. So worn out. Again you have to go for buying a new chappal. So this wearing and tearing is due to the friction between the chappal and the ground, because of that friction you are having the wear and tear of the wheels also. If you buy a new vehicle, every 3-4 years you should keep on changing the wheels. For every so many kilometers it will give you, the company will give you have to go only that much kilometers. After that you have to change it. Because if you don't change and the completely is a smooth surface, the vehicle cannot stop when you just apply the brake. It skids and there's every chance for having an accident. So the wear and tear of the wheels is due to the friction between the road and the wheel. So at that time it's a disadvantage. And also when any vehicle, any relative motion is there, in any machine, any relative motion is there. That, for example, you put on the fan and the bearings of the fan is not properly, the grease have gone or something, the fan is producing sound. Once it's producing sound means the friction is more. Means after running it becomes hot. If it becomes hot, it burns. So my dear friends, due to friction, the heat is increasing, as a result the machine will burn out. So to reduce that, so in that way these are all the evil impacts. The evil impacts. For example, there are many evil impacts. For example, you are swimming, along the direction of water you are swimming. Swimming is very easy because water is not resisting. The friction is due to water also. So your swimming is very comfortable. But you start swimming against the direction of water. It's very difficult for you to swim because water is resisting your motion. So because of that resisting force, it is very difficult for you to swim. Even when you are going on a cycle, the wind is along your direction, along the motion. It's very easy for you to cycle. But if the wind is coming in the opposite direction, you are cycling in the opposite direction of that of the wind, it is very difficult for you to cycle and your legs will be paining because the air is resisting your movement. So my dear friends, now you understood what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of the friction. There are many disadvantages too. So for example, to minimize these disadvantages, what are the things that we have to do to minimize these disadvantages? We have to increase the smoothness of the surface, wherever the friction must be less. For example, you are playing the carrom board points. So the carrom board must be smooth enough. You can't play the carrom board when it is a rough surface because the sliding is not possible. The smooth sliding is possible only with a smooth surface. have to go for a smooth surface. You have to smoothen the surface. To reduce the friction, you have to smoothen the surface. And in the machinery, we have to keep on using the grease or oiling is required. A continuous greasing and oiling is required. Once the greasing and oiling is done on a regular basis, the wear and tear of the vehicle of that particular machinery will decrease a lot. With that, the life will increase. Whether it may be any kind of movement, a relative movement is there. Greasing and oiling is very important. That is going to decrease the friction. That is very essential. We have to decrease the friction wherever it is required. By we can decrease the damage can be reduced. And the next thing is, for example, if you take a crow or any bird, you can see how the bird is designed. The bird's beak is very sharp. That is called the streamlining. That shape we call it as the streamlining. Similarly, when an aeroplane is going, the aeroplane is also going with a high speed of nearly about 700,000 kilometers per hour. It's going with a high speed. So to reduce the friction due to air, the aeroplane's face is also like a bird's face, sharp in the front. It's not like a bus flat. It's like a bird. This is called the streamlining of the aeroplane, is to reduce the friction due to air. So my dear friends, we are changing the shape. That means the streamlining is done in the aeroplane to reduce the friction due to air. Similarly, when a boat is going, you see the boat is not flat. The shape of the boat is like this. Any water moving body. So this kind of shape is going to reduce the friction due to water. So my dear friends, now you understood we can decrease the friction by changing the shape, by streamlining, especially the aeroplanes which are going in air and even the boats going in water, reduce the friction we are going to. So my dear friends, in all these cases, reducing the friction can be done to some extent by us. Liquid lubricants are used, grease and oil, all the lubricants. Solid lubricant, graphite, the pencil what we are using, that is graphite. That is a solid lubricant which is used to slip. It's having a slippery nature. So that is a solid lubricant. These are called the lubricants, my dear friends. And my dear friends, when you are going on a vehicle, especially during the rainy season, especially during the turnings, when you are taking a turning, more accidents will take place because in the turning you have to decrease your speed. There is every risk at the turning, and water is there. Water is again a lubricant. So water will make your vehicle to skid. Especially you must be very careful in the rainy season, and especially during the time when you are taking a turn. Because water is going to also is a lubricating agent which is going to skid your vehicle. So my dear friends, in this way we can minimize the friction wherever it is required. We can increase the friction or decrease the friction. So and we must be wise enough in using the friction in a proper way. And let us see something more. Now we have seen the advantages and disadvantages of the friction and how to minimize the friction. Now let us see what are the different types of friction we know. And for example, if you in the case of a friction is please try to understand, my dear friends. Please try to understand. Yes, I am not lively, I cannot show all the things, but you please try to imagine along with me and try to understand. Imagine that this is a small vehicle, a heavy vehicle like a bus. Imagine that. See, my dear friends, friction is a self-adjusting force. Very important point. Friction is not fixed. Friction is a self-adjusting force. And if you are applying force in one direction, if this is the direction of your application of the force, friction is always opposite to the direction of the force. Means if you are applying the force in this direction, the application of the friction is always opposite to the direction of the force. This is an important point. Second important point is, friction is a self-adjusting force. Means the meaning is, if for example you are pushing a bus, after a long time the bus is starting, it's very difficult to start a bus because the battery will be going down and the driver will be asking the children to just push the bus. And these fellows are working hard in pushing the bus, right? If they are applying 5 kg force, the frictional force is also 5 kg. If they are applying 10 kg force, friction is also 10 kg. If they are applying 20 kg, friction also is 20 kg. 5 also is applying 50 kg force. Now the force came to 100 kg force. Now the students started applying 100 kg force. Altogether, net force is 100 kg. 100 kg force. Now the friction, the maximum limiting friction is 100. For that particular vehicle, imagine that the maximum limiting friction is 100. Now the vehicle slightly start moving. That is called the limiting friction. It's a maximum static friction. That is called the limiting friction. Static friction is a previous case. As long as the bus at rest, that particular friction is changing. If you apply 5 kg, it is applying 5 kg. If you apply 10 kg, it is also applying. Friction is a self-adjusting force. If you apply 10 kg, it will not give you 20 kg force. No, it's not possible. So I think now you understood. The friction is a self-adjusting force. It always applies, is always in the direction opposite to the direction of the application of the force. These are the important things. And the maximum static friction is a limiting friction. Once you start applying a force more than the static friction, more than the limiting friction, it starts its movement. Once the vehicle starts moving, it is easy for you. Because of this friction is coming into play now. This friction, as long as it is rest, static friction. That resting to moving, that point of change over time, it's called a limiting, that's a maximum. And once it starts moving, it's called the kinetic friction or the sliding friction. This is less compared to the static and this is less compared to the limiting. This is less when compared to the limiting. Kinetic friction is less compared to the limiting friction. Now, I am not talking about static friction because it is a self-adjusting force. So you can put 1 kg force or 2 kg force, that is depending on your application of the force. But sliding is or kinetic is always less than the limiting friction. I think now you understand. After the vehicle start moving, children are so happy because it's very easily, comfortably moving. The vehicle is moving very comfortably. Now, I think now you understand. Compared to all these things, the least one is the rolling friction. Compared to all these things, the least one is the rolling friction, is the least friction. Least friction. That is the reason why, my dear friends, very early man, coming to the early man, the fire is being discovered, already fire is existing, and that's being discovered by the early man by the application of the friction. He applied the friction and he got the fire. And the early man even got invented the wheel. The invention of the wheel is a very important invention, my dear friends. In the field of science, fire and wheel has changed the first phase of the person long back ago. This invention of the wheel is due to, he observed that when massive constructions are being done, using tons and tons of weight of stones are being shifted from one place to the other place, people started working hard. Since sliding a stone is very difficult. Then later what happened? When they started sliding, they started using the inclined surfaces. Because they observed that sliding up is easier than carrying. Carrying is difficult. So sliding is easier. Easier on an inclined plane. Inclined plane they started dragging. When they started dragging again, they observed that it is very difficult for them to drag. Then, because you see, the constructions what they have done are massive constructions. Massive constructions with a very high altitudes. So they have to take that massive stones, tons of weight which can't be lifted to such a height places. Means they have to put some kind of ramp, such kind of arrangement must be there. Now they started sliding them. Okay, people are pushing and pulling, some are pushing, some are pulling, but it's very difficult. Then what they started? They started using the logs of wood. Now they started using the logs of wood. Wooden logs are being used. Wooden logs are kept under that and they started moving like that. And once they started moving, as the things are going, they started bringing this log and keeping like that. They started moving on the logs. Finally, they observed that continuously instead of moving the log, they started fixing the two wheels on the two sides and they started fixed it. And the wheels started moving. In that way, this invention have taken place to make their work easy. See, invention, the mother of necessity. Where there is necessity, there comes the inventions and discoveries. Where the necessity is the main factor. So they wanted to make their work easy. So rolling friction is the least among all. So the invention of the wheel have taken place, my dear friends, which has changed the life of the public. A person's life have changed totally. So now I think you understood. Now some children may get a doubt between what is a discovery and what is an invention. Wheel is an invention because man have created the wheel. Fire is already existing. See, something which is already existing and you got it. That is called a discovery. For example, gold is a discovery. Anything which is existing already, salt. If you just find out what is a salt, any scale of salt, it's a discovery. Because finding oxygen, okay, oxygen is already there, it's a discovery. Which is already there but you don't know. You find that is called a discovery. Which is not already existing but you prepared it. That is called an invention. For example, bulb. Thomas Alva Edison invented the bulb. It's not existing. Naturally, bulb is not existing in nature. But we have invented it. That is called invention. Wheel is not existing. But man have prepared a wheel taking from a wooden piece and sharp blade and made it a circle and he made it. So it's an invention. Radio is an invention. Naturally, you can't see a radio in the atmosphere, in the field. It's an invention. I think now you understand. Electromagnetic radiations, they are naturally existing. That is not an invention, it's only a discovery. Uranium, it's not an invention, it is discovery. Because already uranium is existing. Till now you may not be knowing, but now you came to know. That is called a discovery. Now I think now you understood what the difference between an invention and a discovery. So I think in this session you got an idea about friction, how it is useful, how it is harmful, how to decrease the friction, and how the frictional force is. It's always opposing force, it's a resisting force. And now you came to know that it's a contact force and types of force. It's a static friction as long as the body is standing without movement. That is called a static friction. It's a self-adjusting force. Already we have discussed the maximum static friction is called the limiting friction. That's the maximum point. After its process, the body starts moving. Once the body is under motion, the friction is less, called the sliding or the kinetic friction, which is less than compared to that of the limiting. And the rolling is very easy. So rolling friction is minimum of all the rest of things. That is the reason why we are using wheels everywhere. In all the movement, we are using the wheels. The wheels are round. So rolling is possible only with the wheels. Now we have seen the difference between the inventions and the discoveries also. I think now you understood to some extent, you got an idea about the friction. Thank you very much for listening to my session. Thank you.